Welcome to Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. I'm your host, Janette Burke. We are live on location for the Vaughan International Film Festival for the second year in a row. We are back at Aloft Hotels. And we have special treats for you tonight. We're going to be talking to actors, producers, directors, mostly women, who have won films for outstanding achievement in France, in Palestine, and the US and the UK and more. But we also have a very special treat for you tonight. We have veteran actor, writer, and producer, and one of the Baldwin brothers, Billie Baldwin, here too tonight, that we're also going to speak with about his life, his marriage to Chynna Phillips, and so much more. I'm standing here with actor Billie Baldwin, who is one of the Baldwin brothers, and thank you so much for being a guest on Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. I wanted to ask you, since we are a women's show, any issues of rivalry between you and your brothers when it came to being in the acting business or getting a role or anything like that? Because it's very odd that, four brothers from one family would all be actors. Do you see that happening, or do you see that it more as a mentoring for each other?
Totally see it as mentoring. There's been times where I was offered a film and I told my brother I was offered the film. He goes, "Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's a good script." I'm like, "Oh, you read it?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, they offered it to me a couple weeks ago. I turned it down." So my brother Alex, he's just had a great career. But yeah, so sometimes there's a little, I wouldn't say rivalry as much as annoyance.
Okay, so I'm going to move on and ask you some other questions. I know you're pressed for time. Mm-hmm. You've had the opportunity to work with some very high leading lady actresses, mm-hmm. such as Julia Roberts and many others. And I wanted to know, Cindy Crawford was another one. And mm-hmm. How was that for you? Was that intimidating or was it exciting? We're a women's show, so we wanted to hear kind of like that element of it.
No, it's always been a lot of fun. I love working with Cindy's an amazing woman. I'm old friends with Julia Roberts from the beginning of our careers, and of course I worked with Sharon Stone, and I worked with Laura Linney, which was a real dream on Squid and the Whale. I've been lucky, a lot of great people. Never been a problem. I've always been comfortable, and my wife's always been very cool about it too.
So that's the next question, is about your wife, Chynna Phillips. Yes. Long marriage, 1995. Mm-hmm. Little bit of a hiccup at one point when she filed for divorce, but took it back 2 days later. How is it for you to manage two active people, two active careers? How is it for you to manage that with 3 children and keep it all going in the face of like a normality?
It's challenging. We put a lot of work into it. We've got a good system in place, and we try not to be gone at the same time. When her band's out on the road, I'm usually home. When I'm working, she usually tries to stay home, so at least one of the parents. We're both home at the same time with all of our kids. A lot. 80% of the time. That doesn't sound like a lot to normal parents, but to have 2 people working in show business, one in a band and one as an actor, and to be around at least 80, maybe 85% of the time where we're both home, and then either I'm home when she's on the road or vice versa. And but there's been on occasion where we both had to go. There's been a couple times where we left the kids. We weren't working. We went to Bali for our anniversary a couple months ago, and we've gone to a couple places. But we don't travel a lot without the kids. But I like when we do sometimes.
Right, well, every couple needs that.
Yeah.
So of all you've been so blessed in your career, mm-hmm. Since you started with The Preppy Killer, mm-hmm. With Laura Flynn Boyle. Yeah, you've had so many great roles, both in movies and on TV. Is there one thing that you have not done that you always wished you could have done, and what would that be and why?
Well, I'd love to be on a hit series that stays on the air long enough to go into syndication. I've been lucky. I worked in a reoccurring role in Gossip Girl. I've done Parenthood. I've done Hawaii Five-0. And I had 2 seasons on Dirty Sexy Money. If Dirty Sexy Money, was on the air now, it would probably be wrapping it up at around season 7 or 8 or 9. I want to have that kind of a run. I want to have like my brother did on 30 Rock. I want to be on a show that stays on the air, you know.
Well, what do you think that takes today? Because, I think TV is a little bit competitive, both internet, there were so many channels, there BBC, this and that, and you've been on Showcase, you've been on all these different things. What do you think makes the sustainability of a show that can last more than 4 or 5 seasons?
I don't know. If you knew the answer to that question, if there's a way to bottle it or something, we'd be very rich. We'd be Dick Wolf, we'd have multiple series on air at the same time. It's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, a lot of talent, a lot of creativity, a lot of imagination, and a lot of luck.
Well, I want to wish you more good luck for your future, because I know you've done some great things with much more to come. And I want to thank you so much for taking this time to speak with us. Before we close, is there anything you would like to tell us that you have coming up that you would like to?
A lot of movies. I just did a movie called Broken Key in Italy. I just did a movie called Cut Off in New Orleans. I've done a handful of movies, 5 or 6 movies in the last year and a half that are all last year. And I'm producing a movie, my 3rd film up here in Canada in Sudbury. I'm not sure if we're going to go to Sudbury. We're hoping to. And we've made 2 others there that are cable TV movies.
All right. Yeah. So I've got to ask you this, because we are a women's show. Now, you made a documentary about women with breast cancer, and it featured some very high-end names. Olivia Newton-John was one. Why did you decide to do something like that? That was a really amazing thing, by the way. What brought that to you?
Well, I'm the vice president of my mother's breast cancer foundation. It's been in existence for many years, since the mid-'90s. And I've been very active in the community for many, many years. So it's something very important to me. My mother's a survivor, and it's something that's important to my family.
Okay, I agree with that, and it is. Poli-sci was your background major?
That was my major in college.
As was mine. Mm-hmm. Do you think Donald Trump's going to win? Are you a supporter?
No.
Thanks for being with us tonight as we covered for the 2nd year in a row the International Vaughan Film Festival. It was a wonderful evening talking with all the coordinators, the producers, the directors, the writers, the winners, and of course, Mr. Billie Baldwin of the Baldwin family actors himself, hearing his life story. We hope that you've enjoyed watching him and the rest of our interviews as much as we've enjoyed doing them. And we would love it if you would comment and share all our posts on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Instagram, Tumblr, Vimeo, and YouTube. Hashtag Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. Until next time, continue to be fabulous. This is Janette Burke, your host, signing off.